Good afternoon, everyone. This is Aaron Anderson with the Anderson Ranch Life. I'd like to tell you what the plans for my channel is that I want to do, and it's I'll start off with a little bit telling you about where we come from, and I'd like to show you things going on in our life a little bit here and there, and what God's done for us, and show you a little bit of projects that we work on. And do some reviews maybe on like our tractor, trucks, whatever we feel being led to do, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about that. So I'm gonna start off with introducing everybody in the family, and the first one's Lexi. You can see her head popping in the screen right now, and we've got Calvin and Lexi, step aside. And then we've got my wife, Jasmine, my daughter, Madison, and her baby Zane, and her husband, Steven. For today, I'd kind of like to start off with kind of like a testimony in a way, kind of tell you where I come from and my background a little bit. I grew up in a town called Prescott, Arizona. It's a mountain town in Arizona. It was a small town. It's turned into kind of a major city since I was a kid. When I was not like a week after my 19th birthday, I met my ex-wife. I got married. We were young. She was 16 or 17. We ended up having my daughter Madison, things happened that I couldn't control, so I ended up raising Madison with the help of my parents, so we had little struggles going on and stuff, and I wouldn't change it for the world, though. Even that there was issues, there's reasons why we don't always see them at the time of what's going on. But without those mistakes in life, my daughter Madison wouldn't be here, or my grandson Zane wouldn't be here. So sometimes when you're going through struggles in life, you don't always have to take them as a negative, because they could be a blessing in disguise that you just don't see. And throughout that time, I ended up going to school to get my at MMI to get my motorcycle certification to become a motorcycle mechanic, and I completed that. And a little while after I completed that, I worked for a dealership for a little bit, and then I decided I was going to move to Texas because my family bought some land out here, and so I came out here, and things just didn't work out like I thought they were going to at first. So I ended up having to go back to Arizona, not realizing that God was setting me up for something that I didn't realize was going to happen. My kidneys ended up going in failure. I was on dialysis for 4 years, and I kind of like to pick on my mom a little bit and like harass her a little bit. Just we have fun kind of, and so like on her birthday, I always stay silent until the very end, and then I say happy birthday just to give her a little suspense, so she has to wait. Kind of, it's kind of like a little game we play, kind of. And I was outside working on my dog house, building a dog house for my dog, and I got a phone call, and they said they had a kidney for me. So I went inside and told my mom, said, "Mom, they got a kidney for me, and they said we need to get down to Dallas right away, that we're getting ready to have my transplant." So I said, "There's your birthday present." So we went down there, and on the way down there, the whole time I was thinking, Is this gonna be for real, or is it gonna be something that's gonna happen? Because I got a call once before and it didn't work out. But I went down, everything worked out. I got the transplant, and it was from a wonderful family that I got the transplant from. And there were situations that happened that made that happen for me, but somebody had to go through a tragedy for me to continue life the way I'm living now. And I ended up meeting that family at a transplant seminar, and they were wonderful people. And because of how I met them at a seminar, I got to stand up on stage and talk to thousands of people and tell them a little bit about Christ and what He has done for me. And so they were sitting there and they had to hear, and then it was all over the news. And so when you talk about Christ so much during interviews, they could only crop so much out. So God knew what He was doing through that process. And so after I got my kidney transplant, I got involved with another organization called the CMA, Christian Motorcycles Association. And it gave me all kinds of opportunities that I didn't expect. Like my daughter, Madison, they had a youth movement program. She got to do different things, like go to this thing called Flame On, which is a ministry for youth that happens at New Year's. And so she got to go do things with that. And then there's another missions trip type thing called the Loretta Lynn motocross missions trip, where we got to go down with a bunch of kids and witness and minister to kids on the dirt bikes during the championship races. And because of that, it opened up doors that we got to work different tracks and talk to different people about Jesus Christ and stuff that you wouldn't expect people to listen at some of these motorcycle rallies and stuff. But it opened doors that I never saw coming. But like I said, God's always got plans. Because of me getting involved with that organization, I met this guy at church, which introduced me to it, and because of that whole interaction, because of motorcycles, I ended up meeting my friend Stephen Wilson, and he had some stuff happen that was that opened up to where he started looking online and dating and stuff, and he ended up dating this girl, and I ended up meeting her cousin because of it. And it opened up opportunities for me to get to know her, and we're married now, and we've got 2 kids of our own, Lexi and Calvin. And like I said, God has plans that we don't ever see coming. I was out helping out my brother, working with him a little bit in Arizona while my wife was back here in Texas. And I just came back to Texas, and me and her got to spend some time together, and I turned around and went back out to Arizona thinking I was going to be out there for 2-3 weeks. And like a day after being out there, I get a call saying that my wife was going to be delivering, and she had preeclampsia. And so that freaked me out, because we were nowhere close to the due date, nowhere even close. If I remember right, we were at 32 weeks, if I remember right. So my sister-in-law and brother got me on a flight back home, and I got back, and my family was all at the hospital. So they flighted her from Paris, Texas, where we live, to Dallas area, to a hospital there where they had a NICU unit, and my daughter was born the next morning, and she was 3 pounds 2 ounces. and I was freaking out. I was scared because I started looking up things on Google on the way to the airport to fly back to Texas, and everything I read said that it wasn't very good chances of survival and stuff like that. And then after she was born and stuff, I learned that the internet, Google, and them didn't know what they were talking about, that there's tons of babies born at that stage of life that live perfectly normal lives. And she's proof of it now. She's 3.5, and you would never ever know that she was way premature, and she is a little stubborn at times, but that's kids. And then we had different things that went on because of her being premature, that we had to go to different doctor's visits and stuff, but now we're right back on normal track. And then my son Calvin was born, and we named Calvin after my grandpa, and his name's Calvin Lee, and the Lee is after my wife's grandpa, his middle name, and that's where he gets his name from. But he's a year old now. He's one of the calmest kids I've ever seen. Hopefully it doesn't change on me. And he's just blessed me with all kinds of things. When I met Jasmine, all I physically owned to my name because of being on disability, because of being sick and my transplant and different things that happened because of being sick. It caused a little bit of brain damage, which makes memory hard for me on certain things, and arthritis and different things that I have because of it. And now I've got diabetes, and so I'm in pain all the time. So I only work part-time now, but back then I didn't know I was allowed to work at all. So at that point, when I met her, the only thing I had was a truck that I owned, and I had just bought a new Harley that I was making payments on, and I was living with my parents. That's the only reason I was able to do that. But since then, we've acquired a piece of land that God, like I said, blessed me with, because I found this land on Facebook and I went to comment on it, and the land was gone. And then about 2 months later, my phone binged, and all of a sudden it was back on the market, and I was able to come pick up this land for less than half of the market value of this land, which God blessed me with, because I didn't have the money to go buy a house or nothing. And so because of getting the land at such a low market, we were able to use it as a down payment on our house, which we have now. And since then, things have just progressed constantly, and now we've acquired, I've got a 2017 Dodge Ram 3500. My wife's got a 2013 Yukon. I've still got the Harley. We just now picked up a tractor, a Kubota tractor that we'll end up doing reviews on eventually. And we've got lots of little projects around our property here that we plan on sharing with you guys as we go through the projects, and I'll show some videos eventually showing the beginning of the land to where the land is now. And it's all due to God blessing us with these things, because we don't do these things on our own. God gives us these opportunities because Without Him, we would have none of this. And yes, people that do not believe in God have stuff, and God isn't a God that penalizes people for not believing in Him. So He still gives people that are not believers opportunities for success still. But I believe our success is because of God, and that's why I give glory to God for that. I'll show you some things on the land and the stuff we have, and tell you a little bit about it and how God's blessed us with it. And if you want to know more information, let me know. If you want to subscribe down below on the connection to subscribe, you can follow us, try to communicate with us, and go along on the journey with us, because I believe God's got a lot of plans for us that I just don't see yet. Because if you look at my past, there was all kinds of things that I did not see that I thought was going to be a negative, but I believe turned into positives. Like I believe every negative that happens in our life, there's a positive. God doesn't just allow negatives to happen. He's using those negatives to happen for a learning curve, or to bless us with something because of it down the road. And I just want to invite you guys to come along with us on this journey, and I'd like to say have a good day, and thank you.